Hopefully, hope all of you are having a really great time. I know it's a busy week of the semester. Yeah, let's make a start now. So first of all, in the spirit of reconciliation, we pay our respects to the traditional custodians of this land. We extend this respect to all elders past and present, and we acknowledge their connection to the community, to the land, and to the sea. And we furthermore extend this respect to all elders across the community and the nation in Australia. So first of all, big fat welcome for all of you. We're so glad to see you here today on a Monday night. Just before we start, I'm going to invite Andrew to share a couple of words because AIESEC alumni and us, we've been working in collaboration together, and we're so glad to see all the people from AIESEC alumni today. So yeah, Andrew, if you'd like to share something.
Hi all, welcome to the series. Just want to say big thank you for David Jackson Gross for being involved as well as alumni president of AAP. And for Martha, it's really great to have our fellow alumni with such high caliber as both a professional individual to be able to provide us an amazing insight to the topic tonight, and hopefully you guys get a lot out of it. So without further ado, over to the hosts.
Yeah, thank you, Andrew. Kind words. And, we could not say this enough, but we appreciate you guys a lot. So thank you all for coming. Just a couple of expectations before we delve into the workshop today. So first of all, be present and respect the space. Marta has actually got a lot to share with you today about how to empower your team and how to lead your team. And the more you put in, the more you can get out. So we really want that for you. So, be present. And second and third, just basic video etiquette, keep your camera on and make sure you're not muted before speaking, just so we can get the workshop flow a bit more smooth. And last but definitely not least, be proactive. Because in your breakout room today, there's actually going to be a couple of AIESEC alumni members, and they've got a wealth of experience, a wealth of wisdom. So if you engage them, they'll engage you back, and I'm sure you'll learn a lot. Finally, don't be afraid to speak up in the Q&A session we have for you at the end. Today's agenda, so we're going to have a quick introduction. We're going to head straight into creating high-performing teams, which Marta would take on, and then a Q&A session, and then close with a couple of announcements. So a bit about the youth leadership experience. So for those who don't know, this is a series of 5 different workshops. For the first 3 workshops, we focused more on self-development skills, so self-management, communication, priority management, and then now we're on our 4th workshop, which is focusing more on team empowerment, how to lead your team. More importantly, we're doing this in collaboration with AIESEC Alumni Australia. And first of all, we really wanted to deliver value content to you guys so that you can take away a lot of practical experiences and a lot of tips. But second of all, we wanted to create a close bond between AIESEC and AIESEC alumni. And yeah, really bring closer these two organizations so you can see the potential that can follow through with these tips. So as promised, a very quick introduction, and then I'm going to pass straight on to Marta, who's going to give you a workshop on creating high-performing teams. So I'll stop sharing my screen, and then Marta, you can take it away.
Hi, everybody. I'm super, super excited and grateful to be here today. And I'm also will do my best to get to know all of you as much as possible. And even though remote is quite difficult to feel the audience, but let's try to be connected and let's try to be proactive. Don't be afraid to ask any questions that come to your mind. Share any thoughts, maybe some insights. Maybe right away you can connect to your experience that you have experienced, something that I will be sharing today. Before we start, I would really like to get to know you all a little bit better. And if you could share a bit, why are you here today? What is the reason that you decided, out of all your busy schedules, and I could see how busy all of you are, to participate today, to spend this time learning? What's the reason? And perhaps somebody from the team could read up to me the comments while they're coming in. So please type in, what's the reason that you are here today with us? If we have any answers coming in, let me know right away. what do you want to learn today, even including this? Do we have answers?
Yeah, there are a lot of answers in the chat box right now. Simon said to learn about build a good team culture, to learn and grow, learn more about how I can achieve more with my teams. I come to learn how to motivate people surrounding me. A lot about like learn and gain more perspective, and learn how to empower a team. A lot of answers still coming up from the chat box.
Perfect. Okay. Unfortunately, I can't see the chat box, so I will rely on you, team, to let me know if there are any questions come in. So if there are any further insights let me know. And really understanding for yourself why you're here. I was told that some of you have leadership experience, some might not have, or some of you are aspiring to be leaders, or maybe you had an amazing team experience in the past. I really would like to hear as many perspectives as possible today. And if you are not an active leader or have never had an experience before, I truly hope that what we talk about is going to be useful for you at any point of time, as it was useful for me. So quickly about myself, I am AIESEC alumna, proud AIESEC alumna of AIESEC in Ukraine. I finished, my last term was in National Committee. I was responsible for outgoing exchange at that time. So everything regarding the exchange and finding countries to cooperate with. And I was doing it at national level. Prior to that, I was LCP in my hometown. And right now I'm working in this company called Mindvalley. And I'm actually based in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. So quite close, I will say. And I'm responsible for everything regarding people and culture. In traditional meaning of this word, it's HR. We don't believe in traditional HR. We really are a lot about people and culture in our company. So, I have a privilege to lead this direction. I'm also recently, just a month ago, wrote my book, Everything About HR for Startups, for small organizations, for businesses. It was truly impactful to summarize all my knowledge and practical experience into a book. That was a very exciting experience to do that. I also spoke at TEDx last year. It was a dream of mine for a long time, and I was super grateful to do that here in Kuala Lumpur. Overall, my passions are around healthy organizations, HR, building high-performing teams. I do find it's not only my profession, something that I believe I bring impact to the world. So one of the ways also teaching and sharing my knowledge with different audiences. Click next. I was actually, sorry, it's me. Actually, it's me hooking. I was actually yesterday when I was preparing for this webinar, I really wanted to see, okay, I asked myself, what is actually my most impactful experience of being a team leader of a team? And not even being a team leader, but actually having a very high performing team. And I even shared with some of my friends, because they were asking me as well, how are you preparing for today? I was sharing the story of this organization that we started here in Kuala Lumpur. It's called Disrupt HR. And it's an NGO that is something similar to TEDx, but in the area of HR. And there are different speakers and community leaders come and share the stage, share their revolutionary ideas about HR. And how this story started, basically, I really wanted to bring it to Kuala Lumpur, but I didn't understand how can I find the people who will believe in this idea and who will start it with me. And I literally approached 3 people whom I just thought they are good people with whom I would like to work to start this organization together. And we didn't work in Mindvalley together. We just knew each other from the HR industry. They're also involved in HR in some way. And it was such a powerful experience because that was an amazing teamwork, an amazing chemistry that worked out. And now Disrupt HR is a huge organization here. We fully moved everything to virtual. I'm not running it anymore. We have a successor there. but for 3 years we were building it together, and that was a very impactful experience. And knowing this, I really wanted to share with you all what actually helped me to build a solid team and to make sure that this idea continues even without me already on board. So we will probably take this as a case study and evaluate different tools of what exactly made it that high-performing tools. I was also part of many AIESEC teams. I was leading, I was part. Now I have my team here in Mindvalley, and pretty much if I look across all of them, all these principles that I'm going to share today are very related. And again, it's very important to understand that even if you are not leading the team, you can always shape and make the team high performing. It's not only the responsibility of someone who holds the title to build a high performing team. And sometimes we do have this misconceptions that you need to be given a title, you need to officially be announced as leader in order to make a high performing team. That's actually not true. And any team experience that you have, you always can have take this responsibility and own it and contribute in your own way of making this team high performing. And when I talk about teams in general, I always, and even like my team members make fun of me a lot of time because I start with the name of this guy. His name is Patrick Lencioni. He is a very famous management consultant. He actually writes management books as if it was a fable. So it's super interesting to read a book about management, but based on the story, hypothetical story he creates. And Patrick Lencioni he wrote this super famous book. It's called The 5 Dysfunctions of the Team. And I always start any team experience with that. Have you read The 5 Dysfunctions of the Team? As you can see, guys, this is like a super simple pyramid in order to evaluate whether your team is functional or not functional, right? And it actually works so well. And when you start auditing different things, you will see how they are related to this. So number one, the essence of all high-performing teams is trust. So as we can see, it's not like actually like knowing the purpose of the team or having a clear goal. No, the first step in order to form any team or be good in any team, it's actually to have absence of trust, have trust, or if it's dysfunctional, means that the team is not trusting each other. What does it mean, building trust? Basically, even how vulnerable can you be with the team members? How vulnerable are you to share your story or anything that is worrying you? And the more team members lean into this of being vulnerable with each other, it is already proven that it contributes to high trust. So ask yourself in your current teams, how vulnerable can I be with my team members? And if I can't be, what's the reason for that? Please remember that this directly contributes to being a part or building or leading a super high performing and functional team. Then if the trust is established, then team members will not have any problems of conflicting with each other. And here, I mean debating with each other. You know, you are not afraid to have a conflict because you know that you have huge trust among each other. No one will take it personally, and everyone will know that this is actually a part of our work. We need to debate with each other. And if I'm debating with you, it doesn't mean I don't trust you. So building trust immediately removes any fear of conflict, of a healthy conflict with each other. After that, after these two pillars are established, the team becomes more committed, meaning that you want to commit to the results, to this team, because you have you know what everyone is doing. You have an amazing trust with each other. And the last two lead to the fact that everyone is not avoiding any accountability, meaning everyone knows what they're accountable for, owns that, and moves into that direction. And last one, this leads to results, any results that this team is bringing, and everyone is actually attentive to the results that they're bringing. So this one is like huge, huge for us. When we have a new manager on board, we make sure that they create basically action steps for every of this pillar, how they're going to instill this in their teams. And it's a requirement if you want to be a manager in Mindvalley. You need to go through this training, you need to plan it for your team. And this has proven to be an amazing concept for us, and I know for many organizations too. I also encourage you to pick up this book. If you see yourself growing as a manager and as a leader, no matter where you are, be it AIESEC or outside, this book is number one to pick up. And I also wanted to just to briefly, real short, share with you a very huge and extensive research that Google has done and also impacted us in Mindvalley, in particular my work as well as the leader and as the manager. And this I want to be clear, we are not copying what Google does, right? It's not, the idea is not there. The idea is just to see, okay, because they invest a lot of money and resources and in research, and it's everything what they're sharing is research-based. So that's why we would trust it. It's not because they do it because they're Google, but I know for sure that they have a huge research team that evaluates these things. So a few years ago, Google did this project called Oxygen, and they were actually evaluating what makes a difference in if the team is super high performing and not high performing. What was setting them apart? What were the qualities that managers had? What were the qualities the most important that the team members have? And they came up with this 5 different criteria that they evaluate each team on. In fact, every manager has to go through this evaluation as a part of formal process for them. And number 1 was always psychological safety. The team members are feeling good with their managers, with themselves, in the team. It's also, if we connected to the previous model that they shared, right? Absence of trust and avoidance of conflict directly contributes to lack of psychological safety. So we can see that these both are related. Number 2 is that people are dependable on each other. They really know that if I perform on a high level, my team member will also perform on the high level. And if I do on time, this will impact directly in a good way the other team member and the entire team. Number 3, super important, there is a clear structure and clarity, meaning everyone knows what they're responsible for, their job description, their goals, and it's very clear to everybody. It's not like siloed, whoever is doing, it's very open and transparent. Number 4 is there is a sense of meaning. I know what I'm doing and what meaning does it bring, be it for my personal professional growth, being for the mission of the organization, but I'm very clear why am I doing this job. And number 4, impact. We know that through our team experience, we impact somebody. Maybe it's our CEO, maybe it's our manager, maybe it's our customer, but we are very clear about this impact. The impact has been clearly defined, and we are very clear about that. Yeah, so very simple, these five areas that Google has identified. And as I mentioned, we also in my team, the people and culture team in Mindvalley, we evaluate each other and the entire team on almost a quarterly basis on where we are in each dimensions and how can we become better. So I encourage you to see for yourself, for your teams, whether this is something that you want to practice and you will be practicing. Okay, so let's get a bit practical. Enough theory, enough models. Let's see how we can use them. So next practical part, we will go into breakout rooms. There will be 7 breakout rooms, around 5 to 6 people in each. So we will get the team to support me with that. And in this group of people, you will go one by one and actually answer this question. Describe your team or your leadership experience, team experience or leadership experience. Make it very short. What type of team do I lead? Or maybe I was a part of, or I want to be a part of if you don't have any experience. What are my needs as a leader or as a team member? And what support do I need? Remember that this group of people that are participating today can actually be your accountability group in the future. So make these connections valuable. Don't lose each other after this webinar. Maybe this will be your people that will be supporting you with your leadership journey. Okay, so do we have breakout rooms ready?
Yeah, breakout room is ready.
Okay, so we can go there, and we will have 15 minutes for this part. Yeah. Welcome back, guys. I hope you enjoyed the little groups, and type in the chat what are some of the insights that you received so far, something that you learned about your peers or about people that you never met before. Don't be shy to type it there. I will read it for sure after I'm done sharing my screen. But my point is, in general, and it's maybe like treated as a life advice from someone who had a little bit more life experience. In general, as a leader, it's super, super important to have any sort of accountability group, meaning people with whom you will have a regular checkings and meeting and overall sharing to give you, it's like a mastermind, to build your own mastermind. And it's at a certain point of life, I wish I created the masterminds of like-minded people or leaders with whom I could bounce ideas and learn from. So maybe perhaps as one of the takeaway from today's webinar, you will find your collaborator, part of your mastermind group, who will keep you accountable on your leadership journey. One thing that I wanted to share today about this topic that I really personally take it very dear to my heart, and the way I manage the team and the way it impacted our culture in Mindvalley. At some point, we realized there was something was off with our culture. In particular, people were giving each other a very positive feedback. The feedback was to the point where we were asking ourselves, why is the feedback only positive, right? And you might think, oh, but this is a good thing, right? People are just giving each other positive feedback. But does it serve a growth? Does it serve someone a growth path if you're only sharing positive insights, if you're only sharing about their positive sides? So we were doing like a lot of discovery and understanding what's going on in our team, in Mindvalley team. And we stumbled about this idea, and we decided to roll it out fully, which is the idea of radical candor. Radical candor, think about it as a framework or a skill, ability of a manager that comprises of listening, active listening instead of telling what to do. It's about being super honest in your conversation with your peers. It's about treating feedback as the way to grow and not as a way to, like calm down your team member. And they also, radical candor comes down to this, also think about its communication framework as well. And when you are dealing with the team member, when you're dealing with anyone in the team, or you are a team member, radical candor would be something where you are dealing with someone because you care about them personally and you are not afraid to challenge them directly. You always want to make sure that, be it feedback, be it relationship, be it the way you communicate, you always fall into this green area, which is radical candor. And when we started teaching a lot about it and reading and sharing with each other and coaching each other, especially managers, to move themselves into this direction of radical candor, we saw how it impacted the culture of Mindvalley. Prior to that, team members were in this orange box on the left, which is ruinous empathy. When you are so afraid to hurt someone's feeling, to always be this nice person, that nice inspiring manager, that you are avoiding the hard facts and you don't want to share them. That's when you would fall into ruinous empathy. There are also two other types that many leaders would fall a lot. It's the last one on the right, which is obnoxious aggression, meaning when you only, like, for example, see the negative parts and something that doesn't work out, and you keep pressing on that and keep pushing your team in that direction that nothing works out. And the last one is manipulative insincerity, meaning when you're actually not telling the truth. You are maybe not stating all facts, or you are not telling even what's right or what's wrong. So the moment we adopted radical candor, it actually became a part of our culture code. And now if you meet a team member of Mindvalley, you will see that, and you will ask, what does it make high-performing team member? We would say that someone that practices radical candor with whoever they deal with. So see if you would like to use it for the team. There are a lot of resources about it. There is also a book, dedicated entire book to how to implement the skills for yourself and for others. One very important tool that you will, as a team leader, that you will use, and in fact, the moment you become a leader in the team, or if you are a team member and you want to build a relationship with your manager, I strongly advise to use and to build the cadence of one-on-one conversations. In fact, as I wrote here, being a team leader is never-ending conversation. You move away from doing everything by yourself, from being a specialist when you were supposed to do so much. You move into managing your team through one-on-one conversations and through these relationships. We take it super seriously here in Mindvalley, and it directly contributed to building high-performing teams for us. What we do is we believe that why do we need them? It's the only way to manage people, be it to know, like, to support the team members' well-being, or to drive results, help them drive results. Usually we do it bi-weekly, and we speak about different things: their objectives and key results, their KPIs, their well-being, and your roadblocks that you might have, and feedback and appreciation. So if you are currently running the team, ask yourself, what could I do in this regard? Can I organize perhaps bi-weekly or even monthly coffee time with everyone, a team member, and get to know them better and appreciate them? Or if you're a team member, ask yourself whether this could be something on how you could improve your relationship with your manager, or get to know your manager better, or any of the team members. We at Mindvalley take this one is very seriously, and this leads from the relationship with your managers that you build through one-on-one. We want to build relationships where that the person, when they are at work, this study by Gallup confirms that people will be more engaged and will stay more in your organization is when they know for sure that someone cares about them personally. And this has been already confirmed. So whenever we lead the teams, we not only talk about like results and trust and so on, we also want to make sure there are mechanisms where the team member feels that somebody cares for them. Maybe it's the manager, maybe it's the CEO, maybe it's another team member. But this idea that you know for sure there is someone who will care for you no matter what is super powerful to building the high performance. One more tool that I wanted to share with you, and you can use it in your practice of leading the team. It's called the 3 most important questions. And those of you who follow Mindvalley, perhaps you saw it on our YouTube or blog, but it's a very powerful goal setting technique that you can use to find out a little bit more about your team. You basically set your goals in these 3 categories around experience, growth, and contribution. And think about it. We were taught at school or at university that goals must be like always measurable. You need to have like very clearly describe them. You need to have like a clear outcome called SWOT analysis, right? I personally don't believe in the SWOT analysis anymore after I started practicing the 3 most important questions. In fact, I was encouraged to set my goals in these 3 categories without thinking about time limit, without thinking, what if money wasn't the question? What would I like to experience? What if time wasn't the question? How I would like to grow? And when we did it also with the team, in fact, everyone who joins Mindvalley, they would do this exercise by themselves, and we would collect these questions and we would have it displayed in the office and online. We see like the power of limitless goal setting. This is super crucial. In fact, I think that I was able to speak at TEDx predominantly because a few years ago, I wrote it in my 3 most important questions that I would like one day to speak at TEDx talk, to give a TEDx talk. I didn't know when, how, and who will support me in this. I didn't have even the topic ready, but I just wrote it in my experience category. And fast forward in a few years, I was speaking at TEDx talk. So the idea here is that you empower your team to think beyond all the limits. And what if this was true, no matter of time, no matter of resources and constraints? And the last one, contribution. This is basically how you would like to make this world a better place. And some team members write, I want to build an NGO that will support kids in Kenya. Or I just want to fund a trip to Bali to my mom because she's never been abroad. So the contribution for everyone can be super different. But the moment you start planning them and thinking just beyond yourself and your personal experience and your growth and about your contribution, you see how much it changes everything. This is also a great tool for you as a manager to really get to know your team members well and see if you can support them in any of these goals. We try to do it in Mindvalley as well, where we would do something about the team members' goals, maybe buy a book about something or help them to fund their project a little bit and so on. So, and this things shouldn't be expensive. It's actually goes back to this idea that I know that someone at work or anywhere I am working or in an organization cares for me personally, meaning knows about me, my mission, and is able to help me with that. Okay, we're gonna go into practice a little bit as well. It's gonna be super short, roughly 10 minutes. And basically, I want you guys to go back to the groups. The groups will be different. It won't be the same people. But think about and state what will be the 2-3 practical items that you take for yourself from this webinar. Something that has been shared about the models, the tools that I shared that you will implement maybe in your team experience as a team member or as a team leader. Right? Remember, as I mentioned, that you don't necessarily need to have a title in order to make something good for your team. So go to the breakout rooms, list the 2-3 actions between each other and explain the reason why shortly. Welcome back. Share your experience with the breakout rooms. What were some of the action steps that you will implement? Type it in the chat room. I'll be very happy to read them soon. And I really hope that this was like something that you will, even if it's like one small action you will implement, that's going to be super good. So type it in, don't be shy, type all your answers, everything that comes to your mind, anything from your group that came up, feel free to share. And we always get this question, right? How to be an inspiring leader, or how to be an inspiring team member. What do? I need to inspire my team. I need to, like be this inspiring leader. Actually, I personally, and also we implemented this in Mindvalley, what we always do, what we want to encourage team members, instead of being an inspiring leader, be inspired. Yeah. You don't need to inspire anyone else except yourself. And by this, what I want to end this webinar today is actually that taking care about yourself, about your personal growth, about your personal well-being is as important as taking care of your team. Very often I noticed in my experience, the leaders will take care of everybody in the team except themselves. And at the end, it doesn't serve any good purpose. And very often it will end up with team leaders being burnt out, unhappy, leaving organization, saying, I will never be a leader again. And I asked them, did you set your boundaries? Did you actually take care of your physical, emotional, any other type of health? Do you have a good healthy diet? And with this, I want to leave you guys with this final word. Don't take care of other team members if you don't care about yourself, about your personal and professional well-being. Is as important as your team. Thank you so much for your time. And I also leave here these 4 books that will help you in your leadership journey as they helped me. So the 2 books that I mentioned was The Radical Candor by Kim Scott, as well as 5 Dysfunctions of the Team. Super, super practical, amazing managerial read. We also have the first one, which is The Making of a Manager. It's super good how the person moved into manager role from being a specialist. Very, very practical as well. And the last one, The Buddha and Badass, it's a recent book that our CEO, Vishnu Lakiani, wrote. Everything that I shared from this webinar is also described there. So it's a lot more like stories, a lot more explanations. So I encourage you to pick it up as well. And in general, it talks a lot about the culture, how we manage team. So super practical, very useful. If you want to grow in this path a lot, I recommend you pick up these 4 books. Yeah. And with that, let's move into Q&A. I'm ready to answer your questions, and I'm stop sharing my screen, okay?
Yep, so thanks so much, Marta, for all your amazing insights. We just had this thing where if you really appreciate what a speaker said, and if you feel like you took a lot away from it, you can either snap like this, or you can put in the snap in the chat box. So SNAPS, snaps. So yeah, come on, guys. I personally love this workshop, so that's awesome. All right, we're gonna move into a very quick 5-minute Q&A session. Actually might be a bit shorter, so just in the interest of time. So don't be afraid to unmute yourself and speak up, or type it in the chat box and we'll read it out for you.
If I don't mind, can I go?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
So I guess I just sort of had a question. And how would you motivate team members when, so just to put into context, like this is for like a unit project. So it's like they have to be motivated to finish the project because it's like their unit depends on it, But like, and my team members are unfortunately like they're very unmotivated to get things done, and so like we were sort of like talking about it in the groups as well. And they all gave me some really good advice. But I'd like to hear from you. How would you motivate team members who are supposed to be already motivated?
Mm-hmm. I think like it's overall we have this idea of empowering team members, right? That we need to empower motivate our team members, and it's actually like quite outdated, and we call it bullshit rule idea in general, because and we would create this motivational things, and we would push them, we would give these talks. Doesn't work. I think very often, and you might want to check it as a leader, to see that do my team members understand what impact they make with their work? Do they understand that what they're actually changing with it? We were talking a bit about like impact, right? The team members clearly see what they're doing makes an impact. Do they clearly know who is their stakeholder? Maybe it's their manager, maybe it's their EPs that they're sending abroad, or maybe it's I don't know, like maybe it's you as their team leader, right? Do they know about it? What kind of impact they're making and on whom? And if you help them to understand this, to clarify this, you will see that actually, okay, like they will be able to connect the dots a lot. And the role of the leader is actually to define this impact for them, to help them identify that impact, you know? So I would advise you to look from that perspective in order to motivate them.
Thank you so much, and for like everyone else in the chat as well who is giving some other advice.
No problem. Great. Thank you guys for sharing your inputs too.
Thank you. Just in the interest of time, we might have room for one more question. So if you have a burning question, please unmute yourself. Oh, actually, we've got one more in the chat. So Huang has taken it. How can you know when to take a pause to take care of yourself when being a team leader?
Super good question, Harley. Thank you for asking this. I think like you will know it the best, right? If something that you're doing doesn't bring you a joy anymore, or you are overburdened, or you are like really pushing for something and it doesn't work out, usually it's a sign that you need to take a break, that you need to step away a bit, take a breather, take care of your well-being. What I was sharing, like be reminded of your boundaries and then come back and see, okay, does it change the situation? Very often it can be, maybe, are you in the right role? Is this something that you want to do, right? Or maybe you are taking too much on your shoulders and you don't delegate to your team. So taking this breather is super important. And trust me, like there is never like a time that I can tell you, okay, in 3 months, please take care of yourself. You will know the best. And as I mentioned, usually it unfortunately ends up, for example, if you are tired, if something you're trying doesn't work, or it takes a lot of effort to push something, then we have these cases as well. We take a break, go like take a vacation, think for yourself what you want to do, how does it like affecting you and your relatives, and whether you still want to continue it after that. Yeah. I hope this answers. Yep. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I'm quite sure that answered whoever asked it. So yeah, that was very, very insightful. Thank you so much, Marta.
Thank you guys as well.
Yeah. So just because we're cognizant of time, that's all we have for the Q&A session. However, we'd love for you to join in on our Discord channel. So if you have got questions, please engage there.
Thank you.
Thank you. So Marta has been very kind to provide her contact. Her LinkedIn is there, so please hop on and add her if you want. And also, if you're keen to check out the website of Mindvalley, it's there as well. So the slides will be uploaded.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
So just a couple of